Hey, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to what we know as Solve Live, but there's changes coming. Going to talk about all those changes here in just 30 quick seconds. So stick with us. Got the news, we got updates from the cloud, all the fun stuff in just 30 seconds. Well, everyone, welcome back. Happy 2022. Here we are, back in the saddle. We did a Rackspace Live yesterday talking about all things data freedom, but we're back with what you know is Solve Live, but there's some changes coming. Maybe you've noticed a bit of a new logo up there, and that's Cloud Talk Live. I'm going to explain all of that here shortly. You're going to get to know everything that we're up to over here. We spent a bunch of time chatting at the end of 2021, last couple of weeks, the whole month actually, figuring out how we're going to pull all this together. There's a lot that's happened in 2021, and we're using that as a springboard into 2022 and bringing you great information and great content, and for the low price of free. That's right. All right. Hey, introduce yourself in the comments. You want to know who's out there today? Who made it back? Who decided to come back to work? Who's watching LinkedIn this morning or YouTube? Not sure where you're finding me, but I'd love to know that you're there. So who's out there in the world today? As always, if you want to get a hold of us over here, pushed too many buttons, over here at the Solve program, you can always email us at solve@rackspace.com. It's the easiest way to get a hold of any of us in the production team here. Daniel's got that, Megan's got that. We're all watching it. We'll make sure that we respond to you. You can also reach out on LinkedIn. If we're not already best buds over there, go make sure that you become my new best friend over there. And that would be fantastic. So this morning we are going to do a lot of the normal stuff. Hey, I got a UK racker here, Gary. Glad that you're here. Sabrina, first time being here from London. Hey, we got a good contingent from London today. So we're going to do a lot of the normal stuff today. We'll start with what's new in the cloud. Try out a new graphic. Who knows if it's going to work? I don't know. And then after that, of course, we're off to what's new in the cloud, and I'll tell you about some updates there. And then from there, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of the changes that are going on over here. And then I've got a special guest. I didn't tell you about this. You didn't see it in the preview yesterday that came out, but it's a good friend of mine, and he's going to share a little bit of encouragement for the year, provided he makes it into Rackspace. Okay, he's on the road right now. Lots of great people from on LinkedIn here connecting in. We've got a racker from Germany who's here. We've got somebody in from India. We've got somebody missed all of the 21. Broadcast. Evelyn wants to know what this is all about. Evelyn, you've come to the right place. We're going to tell you all about what this is all throughout this morning. We've got somebody here from Dubai. I'm so glad that you're here. Another friend from India. Glad that you are here. We got all kinds of rackers showing up. Another India racker. This is fantastic. Everyone, I'm so glad that you're taking the time to be a part of this program this morning. Now, let's get into our first program, and that is This Week in Cloud. All right. So with that, our first news article, as you know, I like to share a couple of updates that have happened from out and about in the wild where cloud has made an impact. And the first I want to share with you, we talked a little bit about yesterday, and that was Darren Cunningham, VP of Marketing over at Comprise, has an article out, and it talks about how basically 2022 is the year of data. Now, in the past, there have been different cloud providers have said this is the year of migration. We heard that back in 2019, 2020 from Microsoft. You heard that also from AWS and Google. I think this year may be the year for data, not just how do we look at data as its own first-class citizen. and not just, this thing that comes along with your application, but something that provides such amazing detail and value to your organizations. So how does data ops, how do the talent shortages fit into your data plans? So go check out this article. Daniel is going to be posting links to all of these articles, comments down below on whatever platform you've found us on. But I'm so glad that you are here. And if you're still joining, introduce yourself. Look, we've had lots of great people doing that. Some amazing rackers from all around the world here today joining, and non-rackers. We're glad you're here too. All right. We spent a ton of time in 2021, that second half, talking about all things security. Well, the security conversations continue. I don't know if you saw, but Google made a big announcement, spending $500 million buying a cloud company to help boost their security standings. This is a really interesting article. You should go check that out. But it reinforces the singular fact that security, and you're going to hear this in the next article I'm about to talk about as well, is a primary either driver or in some cases, inhibitor or creator of inertia in getting content and getting people's transformation out into the wild. Hey, Gerald, glad that you are here at DFW3. Woo! Taking care of servers in DFW. Glad you're here. Megan is here, of course. Megan's always here because she helps make this program possible. Thank you, Megan. All right, now here is a super interesting article from James McGuire. Now, James is the editor-in-chief over at eWeek, and I found this yesterday. It was posted just the day before, so it's just a couple of days old. We got Priya from India here. Glad you're here, Priya. Thanks for joining in. We've got Nagesh from London. So glad that you are here this morning as well. Boy, we've got a lot of great people here. Hey, so in this article, and of all the ones that I've posted, if you only have time for one of them, this is the one you want to go read, because it is that, as you know, this time of year, end of in December, it's also January. There's always lots of predictions going on, and I tend to shy away from them if they aren't ours here from Rackspace, and we'll be talking about ours next week. But this one was just so darn good. And it's bite-sized, guys. There's major sections to it, and it's easy to get in and consume. But there's major sections. The first is cloud computing. Now, these are predictions. Now, this is a great title. He writes great titles. The first is Revenge of the Rush to the Cloud. Over the past, 5-6 years, everyone's just been, snow shoveling, broad pushing all of this content out into the cloud as fast as humanly possible. And the pandemic was a huge instigator of that, as well as businesses the world over needed to find a way to get their content in a way that everyone could consume it from home. Hey, thanks, Daniel, for getting those posts out there. Yogesh, thanks for joining from India. Now, that great rush to the cloud has created problems in taxonomy. It's created problems in controlled building. It's created problems in security problems as well. We heard about that last year a lot. And so revenge of the rush to the cloud. It's time to get in and deal with the technical debt we made with this great push out into the cloud. Evelyn, you make a great point here. Boy, you come in firing strong this morning. She says she likes the idea of data. However, it can be fudged in any focus group or goals. Also, how will cryptocurrency mess with the cloud data? So you're right. In fact, Evelyn, I used the phrase that data doesn't lie, data scientists do. So you're right. You've got to make sure that you've got trust in your data. Got a whole big thing on trust and data that I'll bring to you guys here in the next couple of weeks. So other trends that we've got coming: major growth in hybrid and multi-cloud, hybrid cloud driven by public cloud vendors. Isn't that interesting? So public cloud vendors predominantly, especially from AWS, we're very bullish on the fact that, hey, the cloud is good for everything and everything in the cloud. But AWS, we've even seen in recent years, taking and bringing with AWS Outposts the ability to take AWS outside of the cloud. Google is doing that with Anthos. Microsoft has been strong on that from the beginning with Azure Stack and the derivatives thereof. But we're going to see a lot more hybrid driven workloads from the public clouds. That's one of the things that James states. Now, in cybersecurity, of course, infrastructure, it's the new roads to theft and destruction. The biggest barrier to cloud migration will be security. Not just security, but there's a key word in the phrase here. It's security misconceptions. How many of the people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis are concerned about moving to the cloud because they think it's less secure. Well, what makes an app less secure are the authors of the app or the implementers of the app. We saw stats after stats last year, especially during Cybersecurity Awareness Month, that 80% of the hacks that were going on in the world were because of the basic blocking and tackling, ports being opened that shouldn't be open, patching that wasn't completed, using antiquated operating systems. So these are the things that create security exposures, not necessarily the infrastructure that you're running on. So security misconceptions, I think it's a huge piece of it. Now in 2022, James also makes the point that edge computing is really going to start to come into its own, and it's going to evolve into even separate focus areas. These are all covered in the article. You're going to want to go read that. And then IoT, which has been an amazing thing, but it's also been a bit of a science project if you've experimented with that at all. He says that IoT will now be connected to key business outcomes. And this is when technology, I've said this over and over, this is when technology really starts to get interesting and impactful. And that's when we take the shiny new object and we connect it directly to business outcomes. And then we see it start to get applied. We start to see it get refined. We start to see pattern-based use cases start to be created. Amazing type stuff. Now, a little bit more from this article. Artificial intelligence and automation really start to drive things. And key to that is we're going to see a lot of momentum and change in and around ethical and responsible and explainable AI will become a top priority. So not just AI for AI's sake, but ethical AI and explainable AI. Now, also to this, you guys are just so good. So glad that you guys keep commenting down below. We're glad that you are all here. And keep doing that. Whether you're a racker, whether you're a non-racker, or if you want to be a racker, we are hiring like nuts over here. So consider us. Jobs.rackspace.com or rackspace.jobs. I forget. We'll figure it out. Wow, look at all those links that Daniel provided. That's awesome. Hey, also, RPA, we're going to see some really interesting changes here in that we've looked at nearshore and offshore as ways to save money. Well, I believe, and James believes, that RPA, robotic process automation, will be the new way to actually look at saving money inside of our organizations. And of course, digital transformation. Everyone's least favorite phrase. Company culture will become more important than ever as digital transformation occurs. And I think this is particularly fascinating. And I wish I'd put up a poll, but I'd love to know, maybe you could post in the comments below, as your companies have been going through digital transformation, and combine that also, let me turn this off, combine that also with how we are looking at working from home and everyone's much more distributed. How are your organizations ensuring that culture is still relevant? Because as James Lencioni says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. It's a great phrase, and it's so true. It's so true. All right. Well, let's progress on. Really encourage you to go out and read that article. Encourage you to send me emails at solve@rackspace.com and maybe challenge some of that. Hey, hello from Colombia. We're so glad that you're here, Jessica. Tell your friends and neighbors all about our fun that we have over here. Well, hey, let's go through a few other. Buenos dias from San Antonio, Christopher. Well, you can talk with that, by the way, is the extent of my Spanish. But Daniel, producer Daniel, would love to talk to you in Spanish. So let's talk about some cloud releases really quick. There have been some updates even over the Christmas break and the holiday break. AWS Data Exchange is now available for Amazon Redshift. Encourage you to go check that out if you're an Amazon person. Also, AWS IoT Device Management launches automated retry capability for jobs, which is huge because those little IoT things don't always behave. And so those stuck jobs oftentimes would cause applications to either fail or have incomplete or inconsistent data. So that's huge that they've updated that. Over at Azure, we have general availability for support for copying dashboards added to Azure IoT Central. Again, IoT, big theme for the year as it grows more and more inside of IoT Central. You create these dashboards that gives you very graphical and easy insights into that data. Well, as you create more and more of those dashboards, you want to be able to take those little widgets, those little tiles, as Microsoft calls them. There's a little button now, just says copy, and you can put it wherever you want it to go. Fantastic. Also, I believe general availability is data mapping for transforming data at Ingress in Azure IoT Central, continuing to grow in capabilities with in IoT. Again, tying that there. Hey, thanks, Jonathan, for posting the link to where the jobs are at Rackspace. When I tell you we have so many jobs open, So if you're a non-racker and you want to explore an opportunity at Rackspace, these solve lives. Rackspace are generally not pushing Rackspace products, but hey, I love working here, and I think you would too. All right, let's talk real quick about Google's updates. Vertex AI, you can now use pre-built containers to perform custom training in PyTorch 1.1. So all things machine learning there, as well as Security Command Center has seen some amazing updates. You're going to want to go check those out as well. All right, folks, those are the updates from the different clouds. Now we go into, theoretically, this cloud discussion. But I'll be honest with you, the cloud discussion today is just me chatting with you for a minute. I'm so glad that we have so many people joining us here today. And so if you followed us last year, you know that there's been a lot that's happened. Now, I have hosted here at Rackspace and been a key contributor to what we call our Solve thought leadership platform. Now, thought leadership, as it should be in any organization, isn't sales related. It's just sharing of information. Now, Rackspace this year turns 23 years old. Can you believe that? 23 years old in a cloud-based world is pretty darn amazing. And as such, we've had a position in managed hosting and in running our own cloud, in running business applications, and in being one of the largest supporters and creators of solutions running across all three clouds that exist on the globe. We've been involved in buying and selling companies to help build out and refine our service offering. Now, I don't say that necessarily to brag, but to state that as we've had a lot of experience in this space. Hey, Maurice, glad you're here from Texas. And what that means is we take all of that, and that's what a big piece of what informs our thought leadership program. Now, this is a piece of the thought leadership program, and we started experimenting with video mid last year, and it was just that, an experiment. If you've been around watching it, we've looked at times of days, we've looked at days of the week and frequency and all of that. Now, that also combined with the fact that let me push a button here. Cloud Talk is up on the screen. I've hosted a podcast, if you don't know, called Cloud Talk. And that Cloud Talk podcast comes out on average about once a week. I will tell you, we've had some challenges in getting a few out this fall and even on a weekly basis. But that's a longer form. That's about 35, 40-minute interview-based style. And we've had some really interesting guests on over the years. I've had Scott Guthrie of Microsoft fame has been on. I've had other business leaders. I've had entrepreneurs on. I've had technologists on. Security experts on. It's if you haven't subscribed, I'd encourage you to go subscribe as well, because we've also, as we get into this, I want to talk about some of the changes that are coming here. Now, whether it has been our article base, whether it's been the audio only podcast or this video content, we heard from you all loud and clear last year that you can't always be here on either Tuesday or Thursday at 8:30 Central. And hey, Sean, glad that you're here as well at 8:30 Central to be able to watch it. Of course, these are on LinkedIn and YouTube, but who remembers to go back and look at that stuff? So one of the changes that we're making this year is this. Let me get, where are my fancy graphics? Okay, so we've had the Solve Lives. That's what these have been last year. We come in, we do a Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 run, and it's been lots of fun. And then second to that is we had the audio only podcast, Cloud Talk. Well, what we're doing is we're not necessarily combining everything, but what we're now doing is we're calling these, the Solve Live name is going to sort of go away. These are now Cloud Talk Live. And in keeping with that, the audio from these will now show up in the podcast stream. They'll have a bit of a different audio intro. It's going to be really just the production that comes from these, just the audio only. So you'll be able to keep up with this content, whether you make the video stream or not. And it'll be easier for you to go back and reference if there's something you want to go back and share with a friend. So I'm really excited that showing up later today will be this audio showing up in the Cloud Talk podcast stream. Now, the podcast can be found anywhere podcasts are found: Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify, Stitcher, all of the places. So go subscribe. I'd encourage you to go subscribe. My boss hopes you'll go and subscribe. Do me a favor there. That'd be fantastic. All right, so those are the updates. Now, I do have one last thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to bring a friend of mine up. Now, this wasn't part of the plan this morning. Now, I've got a coworker here at Rackspace that I spend a fair amount of time with, and I got really excited to work with him on a day-to-day sort of basis, just because he's so prepared and he gets his crap done, which I love. So I want to bring up onto the stage David Linder for a second. And David posted something on LinkedIn that I wanted to give him the opportunity to get to share with you this morning. David, welcome to not just Solve Live, but the first Cloud Talk Live.
Jeff, it's an honor, and it's great to see you this morning. I'm actually here at the castle today, so it's nice to be here in person. I'm glad to be on.
Oh, so glad that you're here. Now, I was, as part of my morning routine, was spending a little time in LinkedIn this morning with my first cup of coffee. Yes, there's always a second and sometimes a third. And you posted a little something that caught my attention, and it was you said, "Hey, here we go into 2022 V3 as we just finished V2 of 2020 last year."
That's right.
But then you went on to a bit of a challenge. So let me just kind of cede the floor to you and challenge the world and how we approach this 2022.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. And the point of the post was the past couple of years really have felt a lot like Groundhog Day, right? It's felt just kind of like a reboot of 2020. We thought 2021 would get better, and here we are heading into 2022. And I think there's a lot of mentality out in the marketplace that it just feels like the same old year we've relived over and over again for the past couple of years. And one of the shifts that we're really trying to help our customers do here is just kind of shift from this reactive model to more opportunistic consumption of what technology can do to really decouple productivity from geographic specific locations and just enable that mobile workforce, not so much as a consequence of COVID, but actually as a benefit for more productivity. And just that paradigm shift, I think, and really looking at this from an opportunistic and optimistic standpoint can really shift how we can consume technology and then deliver it to our customers as well.
Yeah, we've been in such a reactionary mode, haven't we, David? Especially in 2020, and then I think to a degree still in 2021, where things were happening to us. And you know what?
Correct.
2022, whether it's your organization or whether it's you individually, David and I want to encourage you, take control of this year. Set some goals for yourself. And regardless of what happens out in the market, it's time for us to take control of our future.
That's absolutely correct, Jeff. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us to leverage technology here to create that new normal based on the technology that really Rackspace can deliver. So, I think you've nailed it spot on there.
Right. And David, remember, this is Solve Live or Rackspace Live. No, it's not Rackspace Live. That's where we pitch Rackspace stuff. This is Cloud Talk Live. See, I still even haven't gotten the names right. So it's not even just about what Rackspace can do. Can we help? Of course we can help. And we'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 and in the Cloud Talk stream. Podcast stream, helping companies have the tools that they need, the knowledge that they need, the encouragement that they need. And really, this is just about how do we help the world be a little better place. And I think technology can help in that way.
Agreed.
All right. Oh man, we got so many people in the chat here. Who's excited, guys? We were normally supposed to cut this thing short here in the next couple of minutes, but I want to give you guys a chance to post in the comments below. What do you think your biggest opportunities are this year in either your personal career or your professional career? What are your opportunities? And David, I'm going to actually have you answer that first. What do you hope to accomplish this year as an individual?
Ooh, that's a big one. So when you're talking from an individual perspective, there's obviously your family, your health, your career, and the full balance of it, right? And I think for me, it's going to be really pursuing just that level of authenticity of what really makes me happy. Because at the end of the day, we don't work to live. we don't live to work, we work to live, right? And so with that, I think there's just an incredible opportunity here in 2022 as the world slowly reverts back to normal to find the things that really make us excited and to grab those and just chase them down, because the opportunity is there. And I think that we've all realized over the past 2 years that life is precious
Hmm.
and the opportunities we have are wonderful. And just the excitement to get up and go after those every morning is what's really excited me here in the next year.
Yeah, and so David, in fact, I've done this as well, is you tend to get directed, people direct to you to do a little mentoring. You came into Rackspace a couple of 3 years ago inside of the lowest rungs of sales here at Rackspace, but
This is
you
true.
had a mission for yourself, and now people who are coming in are looking to you kind of for that leadership. So when you start to coach somebody, what's some advice that you give them of how to advance their career?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I've said in multiple interview panels here at Rackspace as my career has progressed is the technology, I'm learning it. The skill sets can be obtained, but one thing we can always control every day is just turning that effort level up to 11, right? Crank the dial
Yeah.
up. Don't cheat yourself and make sure that whatever your best effort is, give that gift to yourself every day, because the worst feeling in the world is regret, right? And if we leave 10-20% on the table, we're the only ones who know we don't do our best. But if you always consistently give the maximum you're able to give, you're going to reward yourself with the output. And that's what I always try to coach people on.
You know what that reminds me of is I'm a little late to the game here, but I just watched Ted Lasso. So I finished the couple of seasons, and now I'm going around scouring the internet for his quotes because the quotes are so good. But he's got a quote that applies, I think, so well to what you're saying and to us this year, and that is that a lot of hard work creates good luck. Right? So luck
Absolutely.
just kind of doesn't happen. You got to work for it.
That's exactly correct. And you always tend to find that the people that work the hardest tend to get all the lucky breaks.
That's exactly right. Well, David, thank you so much for letting me cut into your time. Guys, I literally saw this post at 7:15 this morning. I messaged David on our internal systems this morning. I said, hey, can you get on a quick call? He had no context what he was doing or signing up for. So, David, thanks for thinking on your feet and joining us this morning.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
You bet. Go ahead and go rock the day and make something awesome happen. All right, everyone. Again, thank you so much for being a part of our first 2022 presentation of Cloud Talk Live. That's right. Work smarter, not harder. LinkedIn user, sorry your name didn't come across. I'd give you credit for it. So subscribe to the podcast, Cloud Talk. Just go find it wherever the podcasts are found. Also, set an alarm so that every Tuesday or Thursday, if you're not in a meeting or otherwise occupied, come join us over here. You have input for us, email us at solve@rackspace.com. Follow me over on LinkedIn. And it's just, you can find me, Jeff Diverter. I say yes to everybody. So love that. And I'm so excited about 2022, everyone. Have an amazing, amazing day, amazing week. And you know what? We're right back here next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. And if you can't catch us then, well, just listen to us on the podcast. And some amazing podcast episodes coming this year. The guest list is incredible. So I'll talk to you soon. Everyone, have a great day. Let's get some music to take us out.